Have you ever thought on why do evokers hate blue sheep? Or why do they turn them into red sheep? In today's video, I am going to dig in deep and show you the truth about evokers. So, the truth is not what you think. So sit down and relax and find out the truth. Before we continue, I am going to ask you to subscribe to me since I'm currently in a sub race with my brother Enigma and Axums, and he currently has 170 subscribers. So please subscribe, it helps me a lot. The first thing I did was I was investigating on what happens when blue sheep turns to a red sheep. So I found out that the evoker makes like a chant when he turns the blue sheep into a red sheep, and the evoker always has a 7-second delay before it can turn a blue sheep to a red sheep. At first glance, you would just expect that the evoker just hates blue sheep, but it actually goes deeper than that. If you don't know, the color blue means ignorant, and the color red means that you want to know the truth. So why did Mojang specifically put the two colors blue and red when they both have a meaning? What are the evokers doing? So I started doing testings with the evokers and the blue sheep, and I found out that every time the evoker turns a blue sheep to a red sheep, it will turn and then go look into the blue sheep and then turn it into a red sheep. And every time it casts the spell, all the blue sheep around the evoker will turn into a red sheep. The next thing I found out was every time they cast a spell, it always has this orange effect. And the effect looks like it's a strength potions effect. So why does the evoker need strength to do it? What is the evoker doing that needs a lot of power to turn a blue sheep to a red sheep? And how does it even obtain the power? The next thing about the blue sheep turning into the red sheep is, why does the evoker want the blue sheep to find out the truth and know what's happening? Why does the evoker need sheep especially to do this? Is the evokers making a rebellion? The next thing on my list to do was I was changing the color of the sheeps, not blue, but every other color. But for some reason, it only lets blue turn into red. What's wrong with the other colors? And I even used light blue, but it has to be dark blue. So what's the difference from the light blue to the dark blue that it's important for it to be the blue that is made out of lapis? Does the lapis in it stores power? The thing is that lapis is made to make enchantment books or enchanter weapons. So my theory is that blue dye has power in it, and then that evokers want to have that power and turn the blue sheep to a red sheep so it can be in a rebellion to help the evokers win a war. But against who? If you're an average person, you would just expect that the evoker is going to war with the villagers, since villagers and pillagers don't come into an agreement easily, and that they keep fighting each other. But the problem with that is, if you don't protect a village from a raid, the village will always lose. So, what other thing or entity attacks evokers and evokers attacks? That one entity that attacks the evoker and the evoker attack is the player. And it would make sense a lot since us players attack their mansions and the evokers attack us too. So, we now know who's it going to war with, but what are the tactics that these evokers are going to do? And what type of strengths they have when they turn blue sheep into red sheep? And what are they going to use the sheep for? If you're like me and doesn't like doing research, then you would expect that the sheep is actually just made to just run away when they see the player. But that's not what they are probably meant for. The red sheep are probably made for spies, since they know the truth, and an average player just sees a sheep, just a sheep. So the average player would probably just ignore the sheep. That's why they need the sheep, so they can see what we're doing and how strong we are. What we currently know now is that every time the evoker changes a blue sheep into a red sheep, the evoker gains power. And strengths. So what my theory is that every time it turns a blue sheep to a red sheep, it gains power and strength, and they're gonna use that power and strength to make more totems of undying, so when they go into battle with us, they can die infinitely, so they can keep on battling while we just deploy resources, so they can destroy us since we don't have enough resources to keep on battling them. You may be wondering, what other power does the evoker have? So I started to interrogate this one evoker and see its textures, but every texture is fine. So I just started to do the test again, like every time if I change the color of the sheep, but it's still only blue. And there's only two ways to make the blue dye. Number one is lapis, and number two is this cornflower. If I remember right. I may be wrong. So it's possible that cornflower, the flower, has lots of power too in itself. But what power is in cornflower then? The power might be the strengths to make the evoker's attacks even stronger. Or the reason for it wouldn't make sense that only lapis works. Because if only lapis has a power, then of all the 100 times I turned the sheep into blue sheep, it shouldn't do the magic, because it's a waste of time. So the cornflower probably has lots of power in it and strengths. The next thing is, how are they going to find a blue sheep? Because blue sheeps do not spawn naturally. So the thing is, how is it going to obtain the power? Because evokers themselves can't turn sheep to blue. So My theory is that the evoker will keep spying on you left and right to see if you will turn the sheep blue, so it can take that opportunity to get that power. Another theory I just thought of is that it's possible if right now that evokers have enough power that they obtain from blue sheep, that they can get themselves creative mode so they can kill us and ban us. The next experiment I tested is what happens if I kill the red sheep. Well, if the evokers will react. So I killed some and the evoker just did nothing. So I came to survival, but it didn't work. So I found out, so I came to my personal game mode and turned into survival and started to turn this blue sheep and then wait till it gets into red sheep and and just keep turning it into a blue sheep. And when I was turning it, it seems like it has a distance on how far it is. It can turn a blue sheep into a red sheep. So every time I kill a red sheep, it didn't have any interaction, even in survival mode. So now we know that they don't care about the red sheep, but they're just tricking the red sheep to help them. And they don't care is because if they do care, the player would probably find out that they are being spied by and make it suspicious on why do they care about the red sheep. If you like this video, you should consider subscribing. And if you're a fellow Minecraft YouTuber and you got inspiration to make a video on this, please give a shout out for me. It helps me too. So thank you for watching.